how can I get better sleep? So these things that listed right here are known as sleep hygiene. They're all studied really well. So I'll just go through each of them, okay? So how do I get better sleep? You set a rhythm for your body. So your body has this thing called a circadian rhythm. It's best if you keep the circadian rhythm where you are awake during the day, during the night. It's not possible for people, like when I worked in the hospital, I had no choice. I had to stay up at night. But if you can, it's best to keep that normal daily routine of getting up and going to bed at the same time every day. Have caffeine only in the morning. I just prefer not to drink caffeine. I don't really recommend anyone does, but to each his own. Avoid eating close to bedtime. So try not to eat a large meal soon before going to bed. It's better to have healthy and filling, but not too heavy of a meal earlier in the evening. Endocrinologists say around like 5 o'clock. I'm barely like getting home and cooking dinner by then, but like I always try to make sure we eat by like 6 o'clock. So just do your best.
Meaning the last time you should be eating is what they're saying? Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's okay to have a little snack before you go to bed, like usually have
Your meal.
Yeah, filling meal should be more, but they do recommend avoiding late night snacking. I like to eat like some nuts before I go to bed, others I'll wake up hungry at like 3 or 4 in the morning. But
for dinner meal, does it depend on when you go to bed? Some people go to bed at 10 o'clock, some people go to bed at 11 or 12.
yeah, yes. But like they recommend like 10 is like about the best time to go to sleep, like 10 to 6.
But if you do go to bed at 11 or 12, then instead of eating at 6, you could eat at 7 or 8.
It's actually 4.
Yeah, eating as early as possible and going to bed as early as possible is best, but yes, you have to adjust to your own routine and like the way that you're scheduled for today. Avoid alcohol, and honestly, always, right? We're here. But it's definitely not the late afternoon, evening, and bedtime. So that means like what, drink it in the morning? I think it's funny. Anyway, avoid smoking, more like ever don't smoke. Keep your bedroom dark, cool, quiet, and free of reminders of work or other things that cause you stress. And also try to solve problems before you go to bed. So if any of you are like me, once you lay down, you start thinking about like, okay, I gotta make sure that this is done, or like, oh, I wanna like check my fidelity report and see like where I'm at, or like, like don't do that before you go to bed. Well, like do it well before you go to bed, not right before you go to bed. Psychiatrists recommend like getting rid of your worries before you like go to bed so that you can offload your brain from the pressure of like having to like make sure that stuff gets done tomorrow and like worrying about it. So like I have like a calendar that I make sure everything's on there. And so my brain could just be like, it's okay, it's written down, it will get done tomorrow. So you don't have to like worry about it and make lists in your head while you're trying to fall asleep. Get plenty of physical activity, but not right before bed because that increases like your catecholamines, the adrenaline. It kind of makes it harder to fall asleep. Exercising is like really, it's great to do it in the morning, but if you can't do that, like so certain times of the year, I like love exercising in the morning. Like during the summer, it's like nice and bright outside. Like I was just in Hawaii last week. And it was so easy to get up and exercise at 5:30 in the morning because it's so nice and light. But then I come back here. We don't do like in Hawaii, we don't do like the daylight savings thing. So instead of it being like 3 hours ahead, now we're like 4 hours ahead and it's like dark again in the morning. So it's hard to like wake up in the morning and exercise. So sometimes during the winter, I'll like exercise in the evening, but just do what's best for you as long as you're getting it done. Okay. And then avoid looking at phones or reading devices that give off light before bed. It can make it harder to fall asleep. Okay, so like I was listening to this like sleep podcast, just because I was trying to get my sleep back into a better rhythm after like working at the hospital for so long. And the sleep physicians talked about light. So back in the days, they just had like candlelight and there was just very little, light sources in the home. And now we've just got bright light everywhere. So they recommend like before going to bed, in order to try to keep your body's circadian rhythm intact, like kind of slowly get the light going low and don't have a lot of bright light before you go to bed. And then first thing in the morning, they say like outside light is best, but whatever light you can do, like make it really bright in the morning. And that can help reset your circadian rhythm if you're a person that like doesn't get enough sleep or, takes a long time to fall asleep. He said in his clinic, most of the time, when people come for a sleep evaluation and are fatigued, they try to figure out how much sleep they're getting, and almost always they are not getting enough. So they recommend, okay, go to bed earlier. So they'll go to bed earlier and they can't fall asleep. And it's because their circadian rhythm is off. So like if you can reset it using light and lack of light before you go to bed, I would highly recommend doing that. Okay, sleep in a place that is dark and quiet, and if needed, like a lot of my students have to use like earplugs and like eye masks because their roommate will like stay up till 3 in the morning or come barging in at 3 in the morning and flip on all the lights and make as much noise before they go to bed. So sometimes like white noise, earplugs and a mask can really help, or just getting a new roommate or getting none at all. You can afford it. When I was studying for my MCAT, I didn't have a roommate and it was really helpful. So, do not check the time at night. So this is something that I actually had to do. My problem was not falling asleep. It was like waking up at like 2 in the morning and like wondering if I was supposed to be awake yet. So I actually like removed my clock and my phone from my room, and it actually really helped. I would just tell my brain, it's okay. You don't need to know what time it is because the alarm will go off when it's time to wake up. And that actually sometimes would allow me to go back to sleep. So yeah, they do recommend taking the clock out because if you check your clock, it will take you longer to fall asleep and you'll wake up more often at night. We all have like nighttime arousal when we like wake up, but we should be able to fall back to sleep very easily. You know, you like have to turn or whatever, you should be able to fall back to sleep easily. But you know, if you can't, it could be this, you know, you need to adjust one of these things like the light in your room, or not looking at the clock. Okay. Avoid long naps if you have trouble sleeping at night, especially in the late afternoon. So you can do like short naps for like 20 minutes if you need to, but don't take long naps because it'll make it much harder for you to fall asleep. Okay, any questions about any of those? Okay, so yeah, we talked about the circadian rhythm. So it modulates, like the circadian rhythm actually modulates a lot of physiological processes, like the daily rhythms in your core body temperature. So like you have shifts in your body temperature at night. Sometimes you can wake up like a little hot. You really should be cooler at night though. Melatonin secretion, which is vital for sleep. Cortisol, endocrine and immune function, and your metabolism. So I did note, so like they have done studies on like night shift workers at the hospital. They have like higher cortisol levels, higher risk of cardiovascular disease, and metabolism is off too, because, you know, like sometimes, you know, we're sitting there like eating just to try to stay awake. Really not good for you. So any of my students that work like late shift jobs or whatever, if they're having like problems with fatigue or getting enough sleep, I'm just like, you gotta change jobs. You have to. And like the nursing students, I'm like, I don't recommend taking any night shift jobs once you graduate. It's so bad for your health. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we already talked about like this, basically the light that they talk about, the sleep conditions. Okay, so next is screen time. It's actually become a big thing. It's unavoidable, right? Oh, and by the way, anything I say here, I never tell anyone to do something I'm not already doing myself. So you will not see any slides about like not eating chocolate and stuff like that. But yeah, anything I talk about here, like I recommend and I do it myself. But like screen time. So it's unavoidable. We all work on screens, but they recommend getting less than all of us are. You actually can look on your phone and see what screen times you have. And it's usually a lot more than you think. So it looks like ages 16 to 64, people spend an average of 6 hours and 40 minutes daily surfing the web on any device. So that's not just like working or, you know, like emails, you know, it's surfing the web. And that's about 47 hours a week and 101 days a year. So beginning at age 18, a person who lives to be 80 will spend more than 17 years of their adult life using the internet. That's way too much time, but we could be doing way better things. We could be doing way better things. So how do we adjust our screen time? So these are the recommendations for how much you should get. So under 18 months, avoid it. except for like video chatting with like grandma and grandpa and aunties, of course, are very important. 18 to 24, limit screen time to high quality education programming with parental engagement. So that's not like, here, go sit in front of the TV while I go get stuff done, though that is nice sometimes. Try to avoid just putting them in front of the TV and make sure you're sitting with them and like, you know, talking through things with them. 2 to 5 years, no more than 1 hour of high quality programming per day. 5 years and older, no more than 2 hours of recreational screen time per day in teens. Focus on balancing screen time with physical activity, healthy habits, and other important activities. I would highly recommend encouraging teens to get out and actually like be with their friends instead of staying home and texting on the phone. They have done studies like on video games and social media. There's kind of this U-shaped curve. I wish I would have included it in here, like I didn't think about it because I was thinking mostly of college students, but if they get no screen time, it adversely affects their mental health. If they have like a moderate amount, it's good for mental health. But if they have too much, it goes right back to like decreasing quality of mental health. So they do, like, by the way that people communicate nowadays, kids do need screen time, like they can have those interactive video games. They can engage with others in social media, but like too much of that can adversely impact their mental health. So, and I also think, you know, like we learn a lot, you know, like with the word of wisdom, everything in moderation, right? And I think, you know, a lot of us would have a hard time moderating alcohol, but it's good to learn how to moderate like your chocolate intake. You know, like I never tell anyone to stop everything you love. You know, if you have diabetes, I'm not going to say like, okay, you can never have, you know, dessert or sweets again, but like practice taking it in smaller portions, less days a week, because if you fully like restrict everything that you enjoy, you're at very high risk for just like binging and failing. So helping your family members learn how to moderate your screen time can really help them in life in general. I mean, to be able to not overindulge in things that aren't good for us. So screen time, excessive screen time can harm learning. It can harm your memory. It can harm your mental health. It can cause thinning of the cerebral cortex, which is a layer responsible for processing memory and cognitive functions. It can increase risk for dementia, stroke, or Parkinson's. It can hinder sleep, which we already know, and it can lower gray matter volume. So all of those together should help us know, like, okay, it is an important thing to do. So what can we do about it? What are some solutions? Does anyone, oh, do you want me to put that back? Sorry. Does anyone have any solutions for how to improve screen time?
Well, I mean, I've done this before, but I need to do it again. But I have put app limits on my phone. Like I put time limits on like my social media and stuff, because I was realizing I was spending a little too much time. And so it can, like, that would help kick me out or
Yeah,
be like, you're done.
that's a great solution. That's actually one recommended by experts.
Look at me, I'm an expert.
That's right. Yeah, so placing limits on yourself, that helps you to moderate your time. So you're still getting some enjoyment out of it. You don't feel totally out of the social loop, but you're not overindulging and becoming like a hermit, just sitting in your house only on social media. Okay, so I just like copied and pasted this out of this like page on Stanford Health's website because I thought it was so great. So I think that most of us, when we wake up, the first thing we reach for is the phone. Okay, what time is it? And then, oh, look at this notification or whatever. And then we like go down this like dark rabbit hole. So they say, don't pick up the phone after the alarm goes off in the morning. Look at our email and looking at our email or social media on our phones while still in bed jolts the nervous system and can trigger the fight or flight response since we aren't fully awake yet. Also, we look at our phones first thing every morning, we create a pattern and get set the fight or flight response as our default mode of operation. Not only does this behavior set an anxiety-filled tone for the day, but we're also training our brains to be more hyper-vigilant in general. One of the biggest issues with picking up the phone right away in the morning is that when you have an object close to your face, it's registered with threat. You would want to wake up and look a mirror in the face every morning on a physiological level. It's the same thing. So I actually have started not looking at my phone in the morning. I now have like one of those, like one of my students told me about this like alarm clock that slowly gets like bright. And I'm like, oh, that will help get the light that I need in the morning. So I've used that. I actually put it in the bathroom. So I'm not like tempted, because you can turn the face of it off so it doesn't tell you the time unless you like turn it on. But I was like too tempted to turn it on, when it was next to my bed, so I actually put it in the bathroom. That light slowly goes on, that's what I use for my alarm, I don't use my phone anymore for my alarm, and then I'm not tempted to use the phone first thing in the morning. It actually really helps me to go do more productive things. So they recommend practice of the month. Let's all try no screen time for the first hour of the day and just see what a difference it makes in your day. And also maybe in like your screen time use, right? So you could do some of these things instead. You could exercise. You could call a friend or family member, probably not at 6 in the morning, unless they're in a different time zone. That's conducive to that. You could go and prepare a healthy breakfast, so you're not rushed. You can meditate and count your blessings, pray, read the scriptures, listen to music, create a gratitude list, read a book, or spend time outside and get morning light. So these are all things that we could do instead of spending time on our phones in the morning when we wake up. And I like this quote right here. It says, how do you want your day's energy and mood to start? Intentionally implementing a morning routine that reflects lifestyle medicine choices instead of screen time sets a positive tone for the day and supports brain health and cognitive enhancement. In fact, let's see what time it is. I don't know. 10:25. 10:25, okay, because I'm supposed to go up to like 10:40, so I think we can. Okay, so the next thing I talk to you about a lot with students is hydration. Mostly because of like constipation and urine tract infections. So that's why I end up having to talk to them about hydration, but also I get a lot of people who feel like they're gonna faint every time they stand up. I actually had this problem when I was in college. I thought something was wrong with me and it was actually, I just didn't drink enough water. So, and not to say that if you feel like fainting, that's the cause, but almost always if it's just only when you're trying to stand up. When you stand up, gravity pulls about 800 mLs of blood out of your brain. And so your blood pressure and your heart rate have to increase to make sure that your brain gets enough blood so you don't keel over. So drinking is really important. So men should get about 3.7 liters a day and women 2.7 liters. Any more than that is great. But like I would say that's about the minimum that we recommend. So what are the benefits of being well hydrated? So hydration helps to regulate your body temperature because you need good blood flow in order to do that. It helps keep your joints lubricated. It helps prevent infections, especially urine tract infections. It delivers nutrients to the cells. It keeps your organs functioning properly. It prevents constipation. It prevents orthostatic hypotension, and it improves sleep quality, cognition, and mood. Go ahead.
What's orthostatic hypotension?
Oh, that's the, like, when you like stand up and you.
Oh, I see.
fall over.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually already taught my daughters that. I'm like, we'll save you a doctor's visit if you can just make sure you're drinking that. That's my. A lot of students get that too, like, because they go and donate plasma and then they're just not rehydrating enough after too. Okay. Oh, I would also say here in Utah, so anytime any of my family comes from Hawaii, I show up at the airport with a flask. So like, I take this everywhere with me. This is a 40 ounce. So back to like the 2.7 liters, that's like 330 ounces, right? So every liter has 33 ounces. So you should drink about 90 ounces a day. So this is 40. I'm supposed to drink 2 and 2/3 of this or whatever, but I drink 3 plus more if you exercise, right? So, yeah, and I always give them lotion and chapstick because I see a lot of students with like dermatitis on their hands because they're washing their hands and not putting lotion on. So I just kind of teach, just make sure you put lotion on after every time you wash your hands and you won't end up with these like cracks in your thumbs and stuff like I got when I got here. But I do see a lot of students, especially from humid areas that aren't used to having lotion. Like last week in Hawaii, I didn't use lotion once. I didn't have to. Very humid, but not here. So lots of lotion here as well. So how do you stay hydrated? So how do you make it a habit? Get a reusable water flask. Make sure you wash it, because sometimes they forget to do that. Like, you know, I wash mine. I wash the top of it and like put it in the, I wash the top of it like a couple times a week, but I always put it in the dishwasher to like sanitize it once a week. So get a reusable water flask, and it's good for the environment too, to use reusable ones instead of you know, drinking all these things. So when I'm like counseling somebody who has bad constipation or gets frequent urine tract infections and needs to drink more fluid, I would say most students drink less than 1 liter a day. That's what they report to me. So nowhere near enough. Drink a liter by noon, drink another liter by 4, and your last liter by 8, then you know, so if you have these like goals to like have this done by a certain time, it helps a lot. Adjust for your individual needs, so like heat and humidity and exercise losses. So during the summer, you're gonna drink more than, you know, during the winter usually. And then avoid soda, juice, diet soda, and energy drinks. Those can dehydrate you, but they also like are associated like with increased risk of diabetes and obesity, so, and hypertension, so avoid those if you can. Okay, then the next thing I talk to people a lot about is healthy eating. So we're having our healthy day at BYU. We woke up on time, we exercise, we're drinking our water. And then whenever someone comes in with constipation or like asking with help losing weight, I'll take a diet history, see what they're eating. I am lucky if I get like 1 or 2 vegetables or fruits for the whole day from them. So I think most people are really good at remembering to get protein. I think most people like center their meal planning around like protein, but just remembering to get fruits and veggies in. So they recommend 5 servings a day at least to prevent cancer and like lower your risk of death from any cause. More than that is great, but at least 5. So when trying to help someone start a new habit, I just say like, let's just have a goal of getting a fruit or veggie in with every meal. So if, you know, a lot of students like to eat cereal for breakfast, I'm like, eat a banana with it or a fruit or like whatever. Just try to figure out what it is that you like and just try to implement that into your meal. So start with a fruit or veggie per meal. And then I like to bring like pre-cut stuff, because if I just bring like a big orange, I'm probably not going to eat it because I don't really want to peel it in between patients and stuff. So I just like do it ahead of time. And sometimes I bring it up for the whole week. So I've got like celery and carrot sticks. I actually really like them if I have them with hummus. So like that's my snack for the week. I also have like nuts in my office. And then of course I have some Trader Joe's peanut butter cups. I'm not gonna lie. But like if I just limit it to like 1 a day, then it's fine. Okay. And then try lots of different fruits and veggies. See what you like. And then salads are great meals. It is a great source of fiber, and like leafy greens actually are the best for like preventing cancer and, you know, cardiac disease. So, and with my students that have pretty bad constipation, I recommend green smoothies, like, and not juice, like actual smoothies, because it keeps all the fiber in there. If you drink juice, you get a lot of the vitamins, but there's a lot of sugar in there. Like one time when I was in residency, we had a dietitian come in and say like, okay, she held up like an orange juice and a bottle of Coke of the same size. And she's like, which one has more sugar? We're like, the Coke. And she's like, no. And so she read how many grams of sugar around the back, like orange juice has a lot of sugar. And she said, how many oranges do you think it took to make this juice? And we're like, probably like 12. And she's like, would you ever sit there and eat 12 oranges? No. So she's like, eat the fruit, don't drink the juice. So like when I have students do smoothies with their constipation, you just take a couple handfuls of green spinach, and then you do like a handful of frozen fruit of your choice, and then about half a banana, and then boom, that really helps. So getting like all your greens in, choosing things you like, and substitute foods. So like my family, we have a lot of diabetes. My dad has diabetes, my grandma's on each side had diabetes, and so I grew up eating rice twice a day. We ate it for breakfast, we ate it for dinner. The only reason I didn't eat it at lunch is because I was at school. So I actually have stopped eating rice as much. I only eat it like once or twice a week and in much smaller amounts. And instead I ate broccoli, and broccoli is much more filling. It is way more healthy for you than rice. And it doesn't raise my blood sugar like rice did. So substitute foods with little nutrition like rice and pasta with like steamed broccoli or whatever. Salad is great too. Meal planning can actually help to get your fruits and veggies in. You can go to the store and be like, hey, I'm gonna pick 5 fruits and 5 veggies and I'm gonna make my meals around those. You can also see a nutrition coach here on campus, and there's the link. I think they're like dietitian students, and they can actually like coach on how to like have a healthier meal plan. Okay, so next is moderate intensity exercise. This is something that a lot of students don't get every day. They have very busy schedules, but if they're decreasing their time on their phone, you can actually get more exercise in sometimes. I mean, like that's just one example, right? Like we talked about, like let's decrease screen time, do exercise instead. I really recommend exercise, especially when you're in college, because it actually helps you to sleep better and you feel better and you actually your brain will work better. When I was studying for board exams, we had to study 12 hours a day. And there's no way I'm gonna sit there for 12 hours. So sometimes I would like record myself, like, some things you can figure out on your own. Other things you have to memorize. It's just a fact. You just have to memorize facts. So I would just record myself stating facts and like run while I was still studying, and that way I didn't feel stressed that I wasn't getting enough study time in. And it actually helped me remember better because I was running while I was exercising. I remember like, oh, I remember doing that fact when I passed that rock at the park or whatever. So there's always a way to get exercise in, even if you have to like study while you exercise. But it helps you work hard enough to breathe. Oh, sorry. And then what moderate intensity means. So they recommend 30 to 40 minutes a day, 5 days a week, moderate intensity. So that means getting your heart rate up to 50 to 60% higher than its resting rate. And then it also helps you work hard enough to breathe harder and break a sweat. So that's how you can tell. So walking can be moderate intensity. You just need to do like a brisk walk and not just like a, sometimes they'll say like, well, I walk to class, and then that's great. It's a very healthy habit to walk to class instead of drive. But it's like, I'd like you to exercise in addition to that too, like, or just walk faster. You just kind of play a class. Did you have a comment? No? Oh, sorry, I thought you raised your hand. Okay. So exercise benefits, it combats health conditions and diseases. It improves mood. I can testify to that. Boosts your energy. Totally true. Promotes better sleep and it controls weight. Okay, so how to start? Basically, just find something you like to do and just do it. It doesn't have to be, I do not recommend that you start off with like running. And that's what a lot of people do. Like they'll go from no exercise to running up hills, and then they'll come into shin splints and knee pain. So just start like gradually and do something you enjoy. So I put this up here because when I was in college, I actually finished up at BYU Hawaii. And I joined an outrigger canoe club, and it was awesome. Like it was the best exercise, very intense, but like, you can feel the breeze. Like I do not like to exercise inside. So if you find why you don't like to do certain types of exercise, you can figure out ways to do it that's better. Like exercise outside instead of inside or whatever. If you're just starting out, you can do something that's not as hard on your joints. So swimming, elliptical, or biking are really good exercises to start out with. I do not like biking inside, but I love biking outside. So you figure out what you like. Oh yeah, we also have fitness coaches here. So there's like, I don't know how to put QR codes on here, but like there is a way to see a fitness coach here, and it's free on campus. You also can like join like the YB Fit, and there are like these really cool like fitness challenges. So there's this lazy cougar-thon. We did it when I worked at Intermountain too. So it's like you're doing an Ironman, but you have a whole month to do it. There's no way I could ever do that in one day, but like, it's kind of fun, like checking off the boxes, like, okay, I just biked 6 miles today. So I get to click off at each box, have your 112 miles of biking or whatever, run the 26 miles and swim the however many miles it is. It's really fun. There's a lot of, and then you got a t-shirt too. You got a free t-shirt after doing the cougar.
So I'm gonna put a plug in for that really fast. It's going on this month, and it's not too late to start, like to sign up. You can just sign up anytime before the end of the month. And you had like YB Fit or Y Fitness classes and stuff, and those are for not just students but employees as well. So it's great for and it's free. So unless you're a full-time student or an employee, it's great. So.
Yeah, we did this like Zumba class, like aqua Zumba, so in the water, so you don't get hot and nobody can see if you mess up. I loved it. So I've done it here too. It's really fun. So yeah, and then like when I say find a rope, any way around any robot that prevents you from exercising, like just find a way to do it. Most of the time it's because of time. So if you could find a way to make time to exercise, you'll notice a difference in how you feel. Okay, so good posture. So we actually see a lot of people with neck and back pain. And I always like to ask them, what position are you studying in? So if you see this guy right here, that's probably how most people look like when you go in the library. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I'm talking with a patient, I'll notice that my posture is like this, and I'll be like, oh yeah, we gotta sit back up. So it's never gonna be perfect posture all the time, But if you just intentionally work on keeping your posture, like your spine in line, it will cause less stress in your bones and joints, strengthen crucial core muscles, it'll help you breathe more easily, it'll keep your neck and spine healthy for life. Because once you hurt your neck and spine, if anyone here has done that, I herniated a disc while I was on my mission. I have to be really careful about my posture and like the way that I sleep and everything ever since I've done that. And I've actually had a lot of students here herniated discs as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I work in IT and we also have a lot of different things that we can help with to make sure that the screen is at the right height or distance from your face or all these different things that can be implemented.
Yeah, because even like carpal tunnel, I've had a lot of students with carpal tunnel because they're, you know, like doing this. And I started developing it here, so I got this little gel pad right in front of my computer and it's gone. So just making sure you have like good posture while you're studying. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about disc herniation. So like here is the bones that you can feel in the back of your neck. So this is the back. This would be like towards the front of you. Your spinal cord runs in the middle, and then your nerves exit right here out towards like the rest of your body, right? So this little disc right here can herniate and compress a nerve. So, and it can happen just from as little as, so I herniated my disc by just like reaching forward to someone to grab a pencil at like a district meeting or something. And it's very, very painful. You have this pain like running down your legs because it's pinching the nerve. It feels like burning pain. And I, you know, a lot of it is because I went to New Zealand, they fed us a lot and I gained like a lot of weight and just like the lack of like core strength and stuff. And just that one movement caused me to herniate this. So just making sure you're like working and like when you sleep, you don't want a pillow that's going to make, you want your, so your, if this is your neck and this is your head, you want everything to be in line. You don't want your neck to be up like this. And if you've ever woken up with a pinch in your neck, that's because you're probably causing a spasm in your muscle that's causing you to pinch a nerve, right? So try to keep things like straight, and they recommend putting like a pillow in between your knee if you have lower back problems. I would just recommend it to prevent them. But just try to keep your back as straight as possible from your head down to your neck to your chest down to your lower back. And even problems with your feet can cause problems in your back. So like wearing good footwear. I talked to a lot of kids about that too. So yeah. So how do you improve your posture? So there are some stretches you can do. Don't sit still all day. Just keep your chin up even when looking at your phone, and like having the screen up, like he was talking about, having the screen up is so that your chin is like straight and not down. Because I mean, I remember studying in medical school for 12 hours a day, and I also like really hurt this my neck as well, just because I was looking down like this, and I could have avoided that if I would have had my books up. Yeah, and then correct your posture as often as possible. Like I said, it's never going to be perfect, but our physical therapist says as long as it's like good posture more often than it's bad posture, you're probably going to be okay. And then lastly, I probably should have put this first, but like since we're kind of like going in through a sequence of a day, just make sure they have social connection, that you're getting outside, doing things you enjoy. Social connection is vital for good mental and physical health. I noticed a lot of students, especially international or those of like other religions that come here, have a hard time like finding their people. So there are resources on campus. These are just the ones that I know about. I'm sure that the wellness committee knows a lot more. But just finding some people that can be good friends and like give you that social connection, that's really important. And I think that's it. Yeah, so this is the next one. So do you guys have any questions about healthy habits? No questions. All right. Great, thank you. Oh, go ahead.
You have to start doing one thing of all the things you talked about today to like set yourself up for success in the workplace specifically. Which one would you choose?
Yeah, they've even like decided that sleep is more important than exercise. So if you're not getting enough sleep, I would pick that first. I mean, I chose that because I loved my job at the hospital. And I actually took a 30% pay cut to come here, but that's how valuable sleep is to me. Cause I saw like the detriments of not having enough sleep.
So what does like your nighttime routine look like?
So I like to do something like relaxing before I go to bed. I usually like read something that's like pretty light, not something heavy that's gonna make my brain think too much. Like I just finished reading a really great book. It's been passed around our office. So I like to read and then take a warm shower and go to bed. Well, pray, read
Yeah.
scriptures stuff. I usually read scriptures in the morning. But yeah, I just
And what time do you stop looking at screens? Do you have like a time that
Oh.
you're like, I'm not doing this anymore?
probably 7:30 for me.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone's like,
That's impressive. No, it's great. Oh my
yeah,
God.
I'm like, cause lately I've been like exercising a little later, like last night I exercised at like 8, so yeah, I didn't look at screens from like before that. But yeah, I just found that like I could end up going, like, I like to laugh, right? I should say under social connection, find a way to laugh every day. So like, I like to scroll through like the videos of my friends, like I like to watch a lot of silly dog videos, but I have dogs, like why do I need to watch videos? I have silly dogs, but I don't know, like if I start watching those, it could go on, so that's why I'm like, I don't need to do that.
Do you like make yourself go to bed at the same time every night? Are you like that? That's impressive.
Yeah. Did I always in my life? No, but for the past like 5 years since I like left the hospital, yes, but even like when I was on my weeks off, I always went to bed at the same time.
And do you do like a 10 to 6? Is that what you do for you? Or do
Yeah.
you- Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, okay. Great. All things I wanna do, so this is good.
I know, sometimes it's hard being a mom, right? And if you're working and you're a mom, like it's hard being a mom, period, like trying to make sure you do all this stuff. But like getting enough sleep, I just noticed like I have way more patience for my family when I get enough sleep, you know, like with my old job, my daughter would be like, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, yeah, you know, cause I'm just like, man, I just kind of love to be quiet, you know, like I just need to be there for them, and it's like they're important to me, so sleep is that.
How are you guys able to tell if someone's oversleeping?
So if they're sleeping like 10 hours a day and they're still tired, they're oversleeping, but it could be because they have uncontrolled depression or they have thyroid disorder or they're anemic or, you know, so we'll usually do an evaluation. I can tell you though, most of the time it's negative. It's hardly ever that there's like a medical issue. It's usually oversleep, like seasonal affective disorder or depression that's not controlled or diagnosed yet, like things like that. Yeah, chronic fatigue, a lot of stuff it could be done. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.